Hola amigos, this is Level 12, and today we are going to be discussing what would happen if there was only manga. Like, anime didn't exist, that wasn't a medium that was available to us, we only had written manga. I was really curious about this question, so I thought first we needed to set up a baseline between what we have now. Like, how much manga is out there versus how much anime is out there. So I went to my anime list and picked a couple popular genres just to see the divide, and I knew already manga was going to win just because so many popular manga series don't get made into anime, but I didn't think the divide would be as big as this one, especially that jump between manga romance and anime romance. So I picked these genres because one, I thought they were just popular already, and two, they had some pretty significant divides. Now, I will say I didn't pick genres just because of their divide. As you can see, there's more anime for cars than there are car mangas. I don't know what the category cars entails, but I'm assuming it's like speed racer type stuff. Part of the reason there's likely more manga is because manga can like have time to breathe. Like, you can take gaps in between making mangas and volumes and stuff, whereas with anime you have to have a pretty good chunk of the story arc already out. And a lot of anime, also, the reason some of these numbers, in my opinion, are kind of inflated is because animes will have so many specials and spin-off and OVA episodes that I'm pretty sure do count towards the anime count on my anime list. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. And they're not always going to have overlapping genres. In the manga genre, there's an entire place for just doujins, which is kind of strange. It was kind of a big genre, but I don't know how that one works because there's so many doujins out there. Just so you know, some of them, there are going to be some more anime than there are manga, but by and large, there's already more manga out there that you probably haven't heard of just because manga is hard to get a hold of, and we'll discuss why. So, the average cost of a manga, according again to my anime list, ranged anywhere between $4.99 to $12.99, which is basically $5 to $13. So, they're not... I don't want to say they're not cheap, because most of the manga I have bought when it's the single volume has been like $5, but I like to read manga like I like to watch anime. I like to know what I'm buying is the complete set, which is why I only have like 4 volumes of manga. They're all complete sets of specific stories. And you can buy manga like that. They're like $50 a pop, and they're thick as dictionaries, but you can buy them like that. But generally, people buy them volume by volume, piece by piece, as you can see here, gathering a sizable collection. Now, alone, these things are pretty small, but as you get further and further into the series, and a lot of manga will have a very long series, just look at One Piece. I mean, not everything's going to be that long, but I believe the Assassination Classroom is about 12 volumes, and you know, that's a sizable chunk. And you know, if you're going every week paying $5 to $10, that's, if you're paying on the upper end, that's $120 invested into one series, which some people can't justify that cost. Granted, you're not buying it all in one chunk, but that's like $10 a week. That's about my lunch money fee back when I went to a public school. But that's the general cost that people are paying, and not everyone can give up $5 a week or a month to buy the copy that they want. Not to mention, these are going to take up space over time, and not everyone has that space to give for whatever manga they want to read. And as you can see, these take up more than a bookshelf, and I don't even think those are all the Fullmetal Alchemist volumes out there. I think Fullmetal Alchemist tops out at 24 and not 22. And as you can see, they don't have all the Nana copies, which I know goes more than 8. They're not in order, which bothers me, but I'm pretty sure there's more than 8 volumes of Nana. And you get my point, that it's gonna take up a lot of space, and for someone that wants to read all they can, like a lot of people like to watch as much anime as they can, it's not gonna total the same way. I know people collect anime DVDs and anime box sets, but I can guarantee you the 5 Italia DVDs that I have don't take up nearly as much space as the 4 thick volumes of manga that I have. So like, just space-wise and money-wise, it's not the best trade-off to just read manga. Like, have you seen the Anime Man's collection? It was huge and took up so much space in so many boxes. And also, I don't know about you, but I don't reread things just like I don't rewatch things. So these become collector's items in a sense. And granted, I do have a collection of DVDs. I do collect DVDs and pop figures, but like I feel like it's a little bit different for books. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. So what about manga streaming / reading services? Do they exist? And yes, they do. I actually found a list of 10 legit and actually pretty good streaming. I hate to use the word streaming because I think of videos, but you know, it's like Steam but for manga, or Crunchyroll but for manga. And even Crunchyroll, if you have the premium subscription, which I don't know how much that is a month, but if you pay that, you do get a limited number of manga series. However, one of the issues I found, there are tons of free legit anime streaming services such as Funimation and Crunchyroll and VerMedia. So long as you watch ads, you get to watch the anime for free. And granted, they're select and specific titles, but you get to watch them for free. There's nothing really like that for manga. Yes, there's streaming and reading services out there for manga, except you either have to pay per volume, which can be either cost less or more than the physical volumes of, you know, the book manga, or you pay a monthly fee and you get their entire collection for free. None of them are like 100% free. You either get like a free preview of a specific manga, or you get like the first 3 and the last 3 free, and then in the middle somewhere you have to like pay. Or it's you only get the newest chapters for free, which I guess is kind of fair, but also but it's like the same thing with like Crunchyroll and Funimation, and you know how people always complain that, oh, not every anime is on Crunchyroll or the Funimation website, so I have to pirate it. A lot of people complain that they don't like splitting their money up between streaming services, and that is definitely something you're going to have to do with manga. You're only going to be able to read One Piece on like the Shonen Jump page, and you're only going to be able to read certain titles on the Viz page, and Crunchyroll is going to have an even less category, and even Comixology is going to have an even smaller selection of currently popular airing manga. It's a whole debacle, and it's up to you whether you want. Most of the prices I saw were between $1.99 a month to $4.99 a month, so $2 to $5, which, you know, is cheaper than a copy of manga in itself, like the book version. But like, what's your selection then there? So that's a up to case by case basis, but I know a lot of people also that wouldn't be ideal for them, who just like to consume a lot of manga like they would anime, which leads to piracy. Now, I don't condone piracy in the slightest, because I do believe it hurts the people in the anime and the manga industry, the artists, the voice actors, all of those people, but people will pirate. And having been one who has tried to pirate manga, it is very hard. It's a lot harder than trying to pirate anime, let me tell you that. Again, I don't condone it, that doesn't mean I don't do it. It's very hard to do. Also, a lot of people will give up scantillating manga because it's hard to get the pages. It's a lot harder to get the manga pages versus the anime stuff, because there are like tons of ways to find anime. And also, whether the trends it's just a lot harder. I found it a lot harder to find legit pirating, well, I say legit, pirating websites that aren't going to give my phone or computer a virus. It's just a lot more risk with very little gain, and also some sites don't update as quickly as others. A lot of anime pirating sites will update as soon as Crunchyroll does. Manga websites, you're lucky if the thing doesn't go stone cold. And also, it's a team of people that translate a lot of manga at once, and they can either drop certain series if they see it's not doing as well, or whatever. And there's always those notes at the beginning and end. If you've ever had to pirate manga, you know. So it leads to piracy, which leads to a declining, money going into that industry, and it's not good all around, because piracy does hurt the industry. Also, something I didn't know where to, put in here, but the reading / attention span of people, granted, if manga was the only thing we ever had, we wouldn't know how great anime was and how long you can just sit there watching a series and not realize the sun has gone down. But like when I'm reading, I know how much time is passing because as someone who reads slowly and sometimes not all the words are in the right order or look like they should, thanks brain. Reading can not a chore because I do genuinely enjoy reading. I have an entire bookshelf of just regular books without pictures. But for some people, they can't invest the time like they could watching an anime because they're conscious of how long it's taking them to read. Not to mention, some manga series are so long. That's why a lot of people I know enjoy the 12 episode, 24-minute run anime series because they're quick and digestible, while manga, you could be spread along for years. There are some mangas that have been going since the 80s and are still currently going. It's absolute insanity, and I just don't know who would be that dedicated unless you started in the 80s to pick up a series that long. Granted, not all manga series are that long, but you catch my drift, right? That like some people just aren't going to be that invested and will never be that invested. Okay, great. So my conclusion for this is if there was only manga in the world and we never had anime, then I don't think the otaku culture, the manga culture would be as strong as the anime culture is. Because yes, I know a lot of people that get into certain anime series will then pick up the manga. Rarely do I hear it the other way around, that someone picks up the manga and then goes to the anime. That kind of happened with me with Happy Sugar Life. I read Happy Sugar Life and I can't wait to like start watching that anime. Don't have the time, but you know, one can dream. So, but yeah, I do believe that if there was only manga, there would be a lot less favor for it in the US than, you know, it currently is with both anime and manga, just because it's difficult to get manga. It takes up a lot more space. In my opinion, it seems like it costs a lot more than for an anime. I like that we have anime. I'm glad that exists. And I know already we kind of live in a world where there's so much manga out there that, like, it's insane to try and consume it all. But, you know, whatever, I digress. So what are your opinions on this? I know this isn't, like, the hottest of hot takes or whatever, and this is a very strange thought experiment, and there's probably some flaw in my logic here. But what are your opinions on this? Anyways, tell me your opinions in the comments below, and if you thought this was a good video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more random fandom things. Ciao, chicos.